how I trade is I look for redelivery, but not in the terms of redelivery like ICT, because there's two different algorithms. He believes that IPTA, an algorithm that the central banks use to help them with liquidity issues in an illiquid market, that algorithm was a algorithm that seeked and created liquidity for the central banks, right? But we're not in the Forex market, right? So I started asking a couple questions. Well, who is actually running this algorithm? Because it didn't make sense to me that in this very liquid market that there'd be an algorithm that would be creating and seeking liquidity. And I didn't believe that a extremely powerful exchange like CME would allow that to take place. I couldn't wrap my head around it. So I began to develop a thesis and a narrative, and I eventually found that it would take, $60 billion to move price 100 points. $60 billion, guys, 100 points. So tonight it's moved 200 points up and down. That would take $120 billion to move price tonight. A little bit more than that, $120 billion, that would be risk gone if it was to be an outside entity. So this didn't make sense to me. I eventually searched and searched until I found the proof I was looking for that answered all the questions for me. Therefore, my way of looking at redelivery is much different than ICT's because it's a different algorithm. I believe that it's a different algorithm. I know that it's a different algorithm, and I can prove it to you through price action. There is no fair value gaps. There is no liquidity runs. There is none of this because these markets are extremely liquid, right? 43,000 contracts traded tonight. So what we're going to see here is price is going to come into this area here. Is then going to reject and go down. I'll go ahead and add on to it to show you that I'm not playing around here. So I look for areas of balance on the other side of areas of inefficient delivery. So like here, for example, we had an area of balance. You had an area of unfair delivery. Price then returns to balance, but it returns to a special point within the consolidation that I refer to as half back to balance. So unfair delivery, it might come up to here. It possibly could, but I think that this should cause it a little bit of grief. If it doesn't, then it will just continue down. There it goes right down as predicted there. So fundamentally, the way I look at price is much different than ICT. No fair value gaps, no liquidity runs, no IFGs. It's just very simple. Price needs to be redelivered. Here's why. This is where it goes, and this is why, and it's what you see. Like on stream, I caught this trade here at the very high to the tick. That was my zone. My zones are a line wide. They're usually 2 points. I look for 2 points at a zone. So I put a box there, but the box is not my zone. It's either the low of the zone, which would be that line, the red line, or the middle point, but nowhere in between. Make that clear. So most people's zones, their fair value gaps are 20 to 30 points wide. It's a big zone. Mine are 2 to 3 points wide. Let's get that out the way. So this is how I look at market structure and redelivery. I don't use indicators. I only am looking at structure, market structure, real-time generated information. I believe everything I need to know on the chart is already on the left. I use gaps. I use market structure, like strong highs, strong lows. I use just the understanding of price delivery fills in any gaps in my understanding that I may have, right? Even though I've studied every type of price action, I can teach you what you need to know to become profitable. Join my community for free, guys. And every Tuesday, I donate an hour and a half of my time to you guys, everyone that's not able to buy the membership, which is pretty cheap right now. I just give it up. I give my an hour and a half. You can ask me anything. No gatekeeping. I keep it real. I've had several people now only attend the free Tuesdays, but they show up every Tuesday. And they're profitable now. Like, what does that tell you? Like, and guess what I did? Because they showed up, in my opinion, they shown to be badass traders, willing to do what it takes. I make my Discord free for them because I'm not trying to farm you guys. I'm trying to create a community of like-minded traders that want to help each other become better. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, come check it out. The link will be in the comments of this video, and hopefully I'll see you guys in the charts.